This is Satya Pradhuman of Cirrus Research. The latest issue of Regional Outliers is just out. Emerging market rotation from China to continue and also fade Brazil. Let me start at the top. This correlation chart here relates China to the emerging market returns over the last few years. What's important to notice is this departure of China from the rest of EM. As you'll know, China is a massive exposure within the emerging markets index. So what's going on here? As we go through this sort of geopolitical crisis, the economic slowdown, the challenges facing China, capital markets investors have begun to back away. And as a result, there's a divergence between how China is performing and the emerging markets. This is important to recognize. A few years ago, we wrote a piece about this subject, what we thought was a risk. The subtitle of it was, "Do you know what's inside your emerging market index?" And the idea here is if the fundamental risks continue to plague China, the EM behavior will be vastly different if you look at emerging markets ex-China. This fundamental challenge also raises the concern over Latin American exposure, as Latin America within Brazil, one of the key trade partners for China. So if China continues to remain under pressure, so will the Brazilian market. Take a look at that section. In addition, when we look at the regional layout, one of the markets we also focus in on, and we've recently started to question, should we remain overweight? And in fact, we've recently faded the overweight exposure in Japan. A lot of this is the fact that the Japanese equity market has run. The reality, though, is that the inflationary concerns that have plagued the planet has finally, I think, struck in Japan. And as a result, as much as Japan's equity market had enjoyed a wonderful run here, the issue is whether or not the equity valuations will stomach the margin pressure to come in the next few quarters. So as Japan and the Bank of Japan begins its tightening process, the margins are going to come under pressure. And what these charts reflect is that the profitability in some of the key sectors, such as technology, consumer discretionary, will come under heightened scrutiny. The earnings expectations, the data panel to the right, relates that expectations are actually above average. If the central bank continues to tighten, and if firms cannot rein in the margin squeeze, we believe these earnings expectations are going to fade further. Take a look at the full report, and as always, happy to take your questions. Thank you.